A strange visitor. Dr. Sarah Malik stood in her lab, surrounded by glowing screens and strange devices. She was a scientist, deeply interested in alien life. For years, she had studied various alien species, trying to understand their cultures and biology. Today, however, something was different. The atmosphere in the room buzzed with excitement and tension. Suddenly, an alarm rang out, breaking the silence. Sarah looked at her monitors. A bright light was flashing, indicating an unusual object approaching Earth. Her heart raced. Was it a comet? An asteroid? Or was it something else? She quickly called her team, and they gathered around the screen. "It's a spaceship," shouted one of her colleagues, David. His eyes widened as he pointed at the monitor. The sleek, silver craft was unlike anything they had seen before. It glided effortlessly through the atmosphere, heading straight for their research facility. The team rushed outside, their hearts pounding with a mix of fear and curiosity. As the spaceship landed, a small cloud of dust rose around it. The craft shimmered under the sunlight, reflecting shades of blue and green. Sarah's breath caught in her throat. This was the moment she had been waiting for. The hatch opened, and a ramp extended down. Sarah stepped forward, her heart racing. What would they look like? Would they be friendly? She glanced at her team, who looked just as eager as she was. From the spaceship emerged a group of aliens. They were tall and slender, with shimmering skin that seemed to change color in the light. Their eyes were large and bright, filled with curiosity. Each alien wore a flowing outfit made of a material that sparkled like stars. They looked beautiful and strange, unlike anything Sarah had ever imagined. The leader of the group stepped forward. She had long, flowing hair that resembled silver strands of silk. "I am Lyra," she said, her voice smooth and melodic. "We come from the planet Zorith. We have traveled far to learn about humans and your ways of reproduction." Sarah was taken aback. "Reproduction," she repeated, her mind racing. "You want to learn about how humans reproduce?" "Yes," Lyra replied, tilting her head in a way that showed her interest. "We have studied many species, but humans are different. We want to understand how you create life." A wave of excitement rushed through Sarah. This was a unique opportunity to share human knowledge with an alien species. However, she also felt nervous. How could she explain something so complex to beings from another world? "Please come inside," Sarah said, gesturing to the lab. "I can show you our research and discuss our methods." As the aliens entered the lab, Sarah noticed their expressions. They looked amazed as they took in the scientific equipment and screens, filled with images of cells and diagrams of human anatomy. Lyra moved closer to a large screen displaying a colorful image of a human family. "What is this?" she asked, pointing at the image. "That's a family," Sarah explained. "Families are important to humans. They support each other and help raise children together." Lyra nodded, absorbing the information. "We would like to learn more," she said. "Your way of creating life intrigues us." Sarah felt a spark of hope. This could be the beginning of an incredible friendship between humans and Zorethians. She smiled at Lyra, knowing that they were about to embark on a journey of discovery together. Little did she know, this was just the start of a fascinating adventure that would challenge their understanding of life, love, and the bonds that connect all beings across the universe. First impressions. The sun was shining brightly as Dr. Sarah Malik led Lyra and her team through the research facility. Excitement filled the air, and Sarah could feel her heart racing. This was a historic moment, an encounter between humans and the Zorethians. She wanted everything to go perfectly. As they entered the main lab, Sarah gestured toward the many screens showing images of human life. "This is where we study everything about humans," she explained. Lyra's large, luminous eyes widened in amazement as she took in the various displays. The bright colors and moving images fascinated her. "Your technology is so advanced," Lyra said, her voice filled with awe. "We have much to learn from you." Sarah felt a rush of pride. "Thank you. We have worked hard to understand our own biology, but we're eager to learn from you too. Just then, one of Lyra's companions, a tall Zorathian named Zev, stepped forward. He had vibrant blue skin and sharp features. "Tell us about this family you mentioned," he asked. "What does it mean to be part of a family?" Sarah smiled, happy to share. Family is a group of people who care for each other. Usually, it includes parents and their children. Families support each other through good times and bad. Zev looked confused. But why is it important? On Zorath, we do not have families in the same way. We are all individuals. Sarah paused for a moment, trying to find the right words. Being part of a family gives us love and support. It helps us grow and feel connected to others. It's a very human experience. Lyra nodded slowly, trying to understand. This is fascinating. Your emotions seem to play a large role in your lives. As they continued the tour, Sarah showed them various experiments. She explained how humans reproduce and the role of emotions in forming bonds. Lyra listened carefully, asking many questions. Do humans not find this process strange? She asked. It seems very emotional. Sarah chuckled lightly. Yes, it can seem strange. But love is what makes it special. It's not just about creating life. It's about forming connections. Zev raised an eyebrow. Connections are not necessary for survival on Zorath. We rely on logic and reason. But connections can enrich your life, Sarah replied. They can make you happier and help you face challenges. Emotions can be powerful. The conversation flowed easily, with Lyra and Zev sharing stories about their home planet. They described Zorath's beautiful landscapes, filled with shimmering lakes and glowing plants. Sarah listened with wide eyes, captivated by their descriptions. Suddenly, a loud crash echoed through the lab. One of the other scientists had accidentally knocked over a stack of equipment. Everyone turned to see what had happened. Sarah quickly rushed over to help. "Are you okay?" she asked the scientist, who was now picking up the scattered items. Lyra and Zev looked on, puzzled by the chaos. "This happens often in our labs," Sarah explained, laughing nervously. "We're still getting used to all this equipment." Lyra tilted her head. "Your species appears very emotional, even in chaos. Why do you laugh?" "It helps lighten the mood," Sarah replied, smiling. "It's a way to cope with mistakes and find joy in difficult situations." Lyra and Zev exchanged glances, intrigued by the strange human behavior. The Zorathians were beginning to see that humans were not just creatures of logic. They were complex beings driven by feelings and connections. As the day went on, Sarah felt a strong bond forming between them. She realized that this meeting was not just about science. It was about understanding each other. The first impressions were powerful, and Sarah hoped they would lead to a friendship that would last a lifetime. Cultural exchange. The next day dawned bright and clear, filled with excitement as Dr. Sarah Malik prepared for a special event. Today was all about sharing cultures. She had planned a cultural exchange between humans and the Zorathians, hoping to deepen their understanding of each other. Sarah felt a mix of nerves and anticipation. As the Zorathian delegation arrived, Sarah greeted them warmly. Lyra stepped forward, her silver hair flowing like a gentle river. "We are eager to learn more about your traditions," she said, her voice full of enthusiasm. Sarah smiled. "And we want to share ours with you. Let's start with a traditional human meal." She led the group into the dining area, where a feast of different foods was laid out. There were colorful fruits, warm bread, and savory dishes from various cultures on Earth. The Zorathians looked at the spread with wide eyes. "What is this food made of?" Zev asked, inspecting a plate of bright red tomatoes. "Tomatoes are fruits," Sarah explained. "We grow them in gardens. Humans enjoy sharing meals, as it brings people together." Lyra picked up a tomato and took a small bite. Her eyes lit up with delight. "This is delicious. What else do you have?" she asked eagerly, reaching for more. As the meal began, laughter and conversation filled the room. Sarah shared stories about family gatherings and celebrations, explaining how food plays an important role in human culture. During holidays, families come together to eat and celebrate, she said. It's a time for joy and connection. Zev listened intently, fascinated by the idea of families coming together. On Zoreth, we do not celebrate in the same way. We have communal events, but they lack the personal touch. Lyra chimed in. I can see how sharing food creates bonds. It feels warm and inviting. After the meal, Sarah suggested they share their music and dances. She led the Zorethians to a large room where instruments were set up. Music is a big part of our culture. It expresses our emotions, she explained. Lyra and Zev looked curiously at the instruments. What are these? Lyra asked, picking up a guitar. That's a guitar. You strum the strings to make music, Sarah replied. Would you like to hear a song? Sarah played a lively tune, filling the room with sound. Lyra and Zev watched in awe. The rhythm moved through the air, and soon they were swaying to the beat. Sarah encouraged them to join in, and they began to dance awkwardly but joyfully. Dancing helps us express our happiness, Sarah explained, laughing at their clumsy movements. It's a way to connect with others. The Zorethians soon began to mimic her moves, their long limbs creating beautiful flowing motions. They laughed together, breaking down barriers with each twirl and spin. Lyra's laughter rang out like music, and Sarah felt a sense of warmth grow between them. After dancing, it was the Zorethians' turn to share their culture. Lyra introduced a traditional Zorethian game called Star Catcher. It is a game of strategy and teamwork, she explained. They used small glowing orbs that lit up when touched. Sarah's team was excited to play. The Zorethians explained the rules, and soon everyone was engaged in a friendly competition. Laughter filled the room as they raced to catch the glowing orbs, trying to outsmart each other. As the day went on, Sarah realized how much they were learning from each other. The cultural exchange was more than just sharing food and games. It was about building friendships and understanding different ways of life. The humans and Zorethians began to see the beauty in each other's cultures. By the end of the day, Sarah felt hopeful. The bonds they had created would pave the way for deeper connections in the future. They were no longer just humans and Zorethians. They were friends, united by their shared experiences. This was only the beginning of a wonderful journey together. Science and curiosity. As the days passed, the excitement in the lab grew. Dr. Sarah Malik and her team were eager to continue their collaboration with the Zorethians. Lyra and Zev had shown great interest in human reproduction, and Sarah felt it was time to dive deeper into the science behind it. One morning, Sarah gathered everyone in the main lab. She set up several screens, each displaying images and videos of human anatomy. Today, we will explore how humans reproduce and the role of emotions in that process, she announced, her voice full of enthusiasm. Lyra leaned closer to the screen, her large eyes filled with curiosity. What do you mean by emotions? She asked. Is it not just a biological function? Sarah nodded, excited to explain. Yes, reproduction is biological, but emotions play a huge role in it for humans. Love, care, and connection are what make the process special. Zev tilted his head, trying to understand. On Zoreth, we do not have such feelings tied to reproduction. We see it as a duty to continue our species. That's interesting, Sarah replied. In human culture, we often form relationships based on love and affection. This makes the experience much more meaningful. She began the presentation, showing videos of human families, couples, and children. Lyra watched intently, absorbing every detail. I see, she said slowly. Your species seems to value these relationships deeply. But how do these emotions affect the reproduction process? Sarah smiled, ready to answer. When two people love each other, they often decide to start a family. This decision is based on trust and support. They want to create a life together. Emotions guide their choices. Lyra nodded, intrigued. So it is not just about biology. It is about the bond between partners. Fascinating. As the discussion continued, Sarah introduced the concept of pregnancy. She explained how a fertilized egg develops into a baby inside the mother's womb. She displayed images of the stages of development, from a tiny embryo to a fully formed baby. Lyra looked amazed. "This is remarkable. The growth process is so intricate," she exclaimed. "But what happens when the baby is born?" "Once the baby is born, it requires care and nurturing," Sarah explained. "Parents bond with their children and teach them about life. This bond is vital for the child's development." Zev seemed thoughtful. "On Zoreth, we do not have such bonds. We raise our young in communal spaces where everyone shares responsibility. It is efficient, but I wonder if it lacks something." Sarah could see the wheels turning in Zev's mind. "That's true," she said. "Different cultures have different ways of nurturing. But the emotional bond between parents and children can help children feel secure and loved." Lyra's eyes sparkled with understanding. "I want to experience this bond. Is there a way for us to see it in action?" Sarah smiled, thrilled by the idea. "Yes, we can arrange a visit to a local family. You will see how they interact and care for each other." The Zorethians looked excited. "We would love that," Lyra replied. "It will be a valuable experience." As they wrapped up the session, Sarah felt a sense of accomplishment. They were not just sharing facts. They were building understanding. The Zorethians were beginning to see the depth of human emotions and how they shaped lives. Later that day, as Sarah walked through the lab, she noticed Lyra and Zev examining a model of the human brain. "What are you curious about?" she asked. Zev pointed to the model. "This part, does it control your emotions?" "Yes," Sarah replied. "The brain is where feelings originate. It affects how we connect with others." Lyra nodded, fascinated. "We must learn more about this. Understanding your emotions could help us comprehend your reproductive methods." Sarah felt a warm glow of hope. This exchange of knowledge was not just about biology. It was about forging a bond between two very different species. They were on a journey together, driven by science and curiosity. Sarah couldn't wait to see where this path would lead them next. Misunderstandings rise. As the days turned into weeks, the collaboration between Dr. Sarah Malik and the Zorethians flourished. They shared knowledge and experiences, and a strong friendship began to form. However, one afternoon, a misunderstanding shook the newly built bond. It was a warm day when Sarah decided to hold a workshop for the Zorethians. She wanted to explain the human concept of love in more detail. The lab was filled with colorful charts and images, all designed to make the presentation engaging. Lyra and Zev arrived, ready to learn. "Today, we will talk about the different types of love that humans experience," Sarah announced with a smile. "From friendship to romantic love. It shapes our lives in many ways." Lyra looked eager. "What are these feelings like? Do they affect your choices?" "Yes, they do," Sarah replied. "Love can make people feel happy and safe, but it can also lead to pain if it is lost." She explained how humans often face challenges in relationships and how overcoming these challenges can deepen their bonds. As she spoke, Zev's expression changed. "This sounds complicated. Why would you choose to experience such pain?" he asked, furrowing his brow. "Because the joy of love is worth it," Sarah said gently. "It gives life meaning." Lyra and Zev exchanged glances, confusion evident on their faces. "In Zoreth, we focus on logic and efficiency. Emotions seem like a distraction," Zev said, crossing his arms. The discussion continued, but Sarah sensed tension building. To lighten the mood, she suggested they play a game where they had to express their emotions through movement. "This will help you understand how we show love and affection," she explained. The Zorethians hesitated, unsure of how to express themselves physically. However, Sarah encouraged them, and soon they began to imitate her gestures, albeit awkwardly. Laughter filled the room, But just as Sarah thought they were having fun, Lyra suddenly froze. "What are you doing?" Lyra asked, looking alarmed. "Is this a demonstration of human courtship?" Sarah chuckled. No, no. It's just a game to express feelings, not courtship. You can be playful without romantic intentions." Lyra's face turned serious. "Then what is the purpose of this expression? Why would you imitate such behaviors if they are not serious?" Sarah's heart sank. "It's just for fun. Humans often express emotions through laughter and play. It helps build connections," she explained. Zev looked unconvinced. "But you said that love can cause pain. Why would you want to act out such pain?" Feeling frustrated, Sarah tried to clarify. "Playing around doesn't mean we're experiencing pain. It's just a way to understand each other better." But the Zorethians seemed confused. They had thought this workshop was meant to teach them about serious matters, not playful games. Lyra looked uncertain. "Perhaps we misunderstood the purpose of this meeting." As the atmosphere grew tense, Sarah realized they were at a crossroads. The Zorethians were struggling to grasp the emotional side of human life, while Sarah was trying to convey the beauty of it. "I'm sorry if I confused you," Sarah said, her voice softening. "My intention was to help you understand. Emotions are complex, and it can be difficult to explain them. Let's take a break and come back with fresh perspectives." Lyra nodded slowly, but Zev remained skeptical. "We will consider your words, but it may take time for us to understand." As they parted ways, Sarah felt a heavy weight on her shoulders. She had hoped to strengthen their bond, but now she feared the misunderstanding could create distance. She walked back to her lab, feeling uncertain about how to bridge the gap between their cultures. That night, Sarah reflected on the day's events. She knew that differences could create challenges, but she also believed that with patience and communication, they could find common ground. The journey of understanding was far from over, and she was determined to help her friends see the beauty in human emotions. Exploring together, the sun rose brightly over the research facility, casting a warm glow on the lab. Dr. Sarah Malik sat at her desk, contemplating the misunderstandings from the previous day. She knew she had to find a way to bridge the gap between human emotions and Zorethian logic. As she looked out the window, an idea began to form in her mind. "I'll take them on an exploration of Earth," she thought, her excitement growing. "Maybe seeing the world outside will help them understand our emotions better." With that, she quickly gathered her thoughts and began to plan a day of adventure. Later that morning, Sarah called Lyra and Zev to discuss her idea. "How about we explore a local park? It's a beautiful place where people connect with nature and each other," she suggested. Lyra tilted her head, intrigued. "What is the purpose of this exploration? Will it help us understand your emotions more?" "Yes," Sarah replied enthusiastically. "Nature can evoke strong feelings. I believe it will give you insight into how humans experience love, joy, and even sadness." Zev looked thoughtful. "I have never considered nature as a source of emotion. We rely on technology for everything on Zoreth." "Exactly. That's why this will be special," Sarah encouraged. "Let's go." The three of them set off for the park, and as they arrived, the vibrant colors and sounds filled the air. Children laughed and played, while families enjoyed picnics under the trees. Lyra's eyes sparkled with wonder. "This is incredible. The colors are so bright," she exclaimed, taking in the beauty around her. Sarah smiled. "Nature can be very inspiring. Let's walk around and observe how people interact." As they strolled through the park, they stopped by a playground. Sarah watched as children played together, their laughter echoing in the air. "Look how happy they are," she said. "Playing is a big part of human life. It helps build friendships and creates joyful memories." Zev observed the children closely. They seemed to have a strong bond. But what happens when they grow up? Do they still play? "Absolutely," Sarah laughed. "As adults, we find ways to stay connected. We play games, celebrate holidays, and support each other through tough times. They continued walking, stopping at a pond filled with ducks. Lyra pointed excitedly. "Look at the birds. They are so graceful." Sarah nodded, pleased to see their enthusiasm. Watching nature can bring us peace and joy. It helps us feel connected to the world around us. As they sat by the pond, Sarah encouraged Lyra and Zeev to share their thoughts. "What do you feel when you see these ducks and the beauty of the park?" Lyra thought for a moment. "I feel calm. There is something soothing about nature," she admitted. Zev added, "I feel curiosity. It is different from what we experience on Zoreth, but I can see why you value it." Feeling inspired, Sarah smiled at them. "This is a start. Emotions can be complex, but experiencing them in nature can help you understand." Suddenly, a group of children ran past, laughing and playing tag. One of them tripped and fell, landing in the grass. Sarah quickly stood up. "Are you okay?" she called out. The child got up, brushing off his knees with a grin. "Yeah, that was fun." He laughed, showing resilience. Sarah turned to Lyra and Ziv. "See, even in moments of falling, humans find joy and laughter." Lyra's eyes widened. "That is fascinating. You find strength in your emotions, even in difficult moments." As the day continued, they watched families share meals, friends laugh together, and couples hold hands. The Zorethians began to see how emotions were woven into every interaction, every moment. By the end of the day, Sarah felt hopeful. The exploration had opened new doors for understanding. As they walked back to the facility, Lyra turned to Sarah with a smile. "Thank you for today. I think I am beginning to understand the importance of emotions in your world." Zev nodded, adding, "We have much to learn, but this was a valuable experience. Exploring together has helped us see life differently." Sarah beamed with joy, realizing that their journey had taken a positive turn. Together, they were discovering the beauty of life, both human and Zorethian, and she knew this was just the beginning of their shared adventure. A shocking discovery. The sun was setting, painting the sky in hues of orange and purple as Dr. Sarah Malik sat in her lab, reflecting on the progress she had made with Lyra and Ziv. The day at the park had brought them closer, and she felt optimistic about their friendship. Just then, the door swung open, and Lyra and Zev entered, their faces filled with excitement. "Sarah, we have something important to show you," Lyra exclaimed, her silver hair shimmering in the light. "What is it?" Sarah asked, her curiosity piqued. Zev held up a small device, glowing with bright blue lights. "This is a Zorethian scanner. We used it to gather data during our exploration, and we found something surprising." Sarah's eyes widened as she gestured for them to sit. "What did you find?" Zev activated the scanner, and a holographic image projected into the air. It showed patterns and colors swirling around, forming a complex shape. "This is a representation of the emotional energy we detected in the park," he explained. "We noticed strong signals near people who were interacting with each other." "Interesting. But what does it mean?" Sarah asked, leaning in closer. Lyra pointed to the brighter areas on the image. "These spots show intense emotions, joy, excitement, and even love. We have never seen anything like this on Zoreth. Our emotions do not create such visible energy." Sarah felt a chill run down her spine. "You mean to say that emotions can be measured like this? That's incredible." Zev nodded, his expression serious. "Yes, but there's more. We noticed something unusual. There are patterns in the emotional energy related to human reproduction." "Reproduction?" Sarah echoed, her heart racing. "What do you mean?" The hologram shifted, showing a cluster of bright signals that pulsed in a rhythmic pattern. These signals appear during intimate interactions between humans. It seems there is a connection between the emotional energy and the biological process of reproduction. Sarah's mind raced. "Are you saying that human emotions play a role in reproduction in a measurable way?" "Yes," Lyra replied. This could explain why you value love and relationships. If emotions influence reproduction, it is more than just biology. Sarah sat back, stunned. This is a major discovery. It means that understanding emotions is crucial for understanding human life itself. We need to research this further. Lyra looked at her, eyes bright with determination. We can work together to explore this. It could change how we understand both our species. Absolutely. Sarah agreed, excitement bubbling within her. This could lead to new insights about the human experience and even help Zorathians understand their own emotions better. However, as they continued to analyze the data, a wave of concern washed over Sarah. But what if this information gets into the wrong hands? Some people might misuse it. Zev furrowed his brow. That is a valid concern. Knowledge can be powerful, and we must ensure it is used responsibly. Lyra nodded. We must protect this information until we fully understand its implications. As they discussed their plan, Sarah felt a mix of exhilaration and anxiety. The discovery was groundbreaking, but it also came with risks. They had to approach this carefully, ensuring that their research remained ethical and respectful of both cultures. Let's document our findings and keep them safe, Sarah suggested. We can share it with trusted scientists and work together to study the connection between emotions and reproduction. Zev and Lyra agreed, and together they began to outline their next steps. As they worked, Sarah felt a renewed sense of purpose. This discovery could strengthen their bond and open new doors for both species. As the night deepened, the three of them continued to discuss their findings, the atmosphere buzzing with excitement. The shocking discovery had brought them closer together, uniting their passions for knowledge and understanding. They were no longer just humans and Zorathians. They were partners in a journey that could change the future. The experiment. The following week, the atmosphere in the lab was electric with anticipation. Dr. Sarah Malik, Lyra, and Zev had been preparing for a groundbreaking experiment to explore the connection between human emotions and reproduction. With their new findings from the Zorathian scanner, they believed they could take their research to the next level. Today is the day, Sarah said, clapping her hands together. We are ready to conduct our first experiment. Lyra and Zev stood beside her, their eyes shining with excitement. What will we do? Lyra asked, her silver hair shimmering under the lab lights. Sarah laid out the plan. We will create a controlled environment where we can observe how emotions affect human interactions. We need to measure emotional energy in real time. Zev nodded, his expression serious. This is important. We must ensure that we follow all safety protocols. Absolutely, Sarah replied, feeling the weight of responsibility. We will begin by inviting a few volunteers to participate. They will engage in activities designed to evoke different emotions: happiness, joy, and connection. As they set up the lab, Sarah and her team prepared several stations. One station had fun games, another had art supplies for creative expression, and a third had a space for meditation and relaxation. Each area was designed to elicit specific emotions. When the volunteers arrived, Sarah welcomed them warmly. Thank you for joining us today. We are exploring how emotions can affect interactions between humans. Your participation will help us understand this better. The volunteers looked excited, but a little nervous. Sarah explained the activities they would engage in and how the Zorathian scanner would record their emotional energy during each task. Remember, just be yourselves and have fun, Sarah encouraged. As the activities began, laughter filled the lab. In the game area, participants played charades, trying to guess emotions and expressions. Sarah noticed the energy in the room growing. Lyra and Zev monitored the scanner, their eyes glued to the readings. This is fascinating, Lyra exclaimed, watching the colorful patterns on the screen. The emotional energy is rising significantly during the games. Let's move on to the creative station, Sarah suggested. Painting and drawing can also evoke strong feelings. At the art station, volunteers expressed themselves through colors and shapes. Some painted landscapes, while others created abstract designs. As they immersed themselves in their creativity, the scanner showed another spike in emotional energy. Zev leaned closer to the screen, his brow furrowed. Look at these patterns. It seems that the more they express themselves, the stronger the emotional energy becomes. Sarah smiled, excited by their findings. This is what we hoped for. Emotions play a role in human creativity and expression. After the art station, they moved to the meditation area. Sarah guided the volunteers through a simple breathing exercise, encouraging them to focus on their feelings and thoughts. The room grew quiet, and a peaceful energy filled the space. When the meditation session ended, Sarah checked the scanner again. Incredible. The emotional energy is different during meditation compared to the other activities, she said, surprised by the findings. As the experiment progressed, Sarah felt a sense of accomplishment. They were discovering how emotions influenced interactions and behaviors. The collaboration with Lyra and Zev was proving invaluable, allowing them to gain new insights into human experiences. After several hours of activities, they gathered the volunteers to discuss their feelings and experiences. Participants shared their thoughts, highlighting how much fun they had and how they felt more connected to each other. Lyra and Zev took notes, eager to analyze the data further. This was more than just an experiment, Lyra said, her voice filled with enthusiasm. It was a chance to understand the depth of human emotions. Sarah beamed with pride. Yes, and this is just the beginning. We have a lot of work ahead of us, but together we can unlock the mysteries of emotions. As they wrapped up the day, the atmosphere was filled with excitement and hope. They had taken a significant step forward in their research, and Sarah felt confident that their collaboration would continue to deepen. Together, they were paving the way for a better understanding of not only human emotions, but also the connections that unite all beings, regardless of their origins. New beginnings. In the days that followed the successful experiment, the atmosphere in Dr. Sarah Malik's lab was one of excitement and purpose. The data they collected revealed incredible insights into the emotional connections between humans and the ways these feelings could be measured. As Sarah, Lyra, and Zev analyzed their findings, they felt a strong sense of unity and shared goals. One sunny morning, Sarah called a meeting with her team. "I think it's time we share our discoveries with the world," she announced, her voice full of enthusiasm. Lyra's eyes widened. "Share our findings with other scientists?" "Yes, we have valuable information that could help others understand the importance of emotions," Sarah explained. "We should write a research paper and present it at the upcoming intergalactic conference." Zev nodded, his expression serious. "This could lead to collaborations between our species. Understanding emotions can improve relationships, not only on Earth, but also on Zorith." Feeling inspired, the trio spent the next few weeks working tirelessly on their research paper. They combined their data, insights, and experiences from the experiment, crafting a document that highlighted the importance of emotional connections. As they wrote, they felt their friendship grow deeper, bound by their shared mission. On the day of the conference, they traveled to a large, futuristic building, filled with scientists from various planets. The atmosphere buzzed with excitement, and Sarah felt a mix of nerves and anticipation. "This is our chance to make an impact," she told Lyra and Zev. When it was finally their turn to present, Sarah stood at the front of the room, flanked by her Zorithian friends. "Hello, everyone. We are here to share our research on the emotional connections of humans and how they influence relationships and reproduction," she began. As Sarah spoke, Lyra and Zev added their insights, explaining the Zorithian perspective on emotions and their importance. The audience listened intently, captivated by the unique collaboration between the three of them. After the presentation, the room erupted into applause. Many scientists approached them with questions and comments, eager to learn more about their findings. Sarah felt a rush of pride as she saw her work resonate with others. One scientist from a distant planet said, Your research could change the way we view emotions in our societies. We often overlook their importance." Lyra smiled brightly. "Emotions are universal. They connect us all, regardless of where we come from." As the day continued, the trio engaged in discussions with other researchers, exchanging ideas and experiences. They formed new friendships and connections, paving the way for future collaborations. By the end of the conference, Sarah, Lyra, and Zev had received invitations to work on projects with scientists from various worlds. Their research opened doors to new possibilities, and they felt a sense of hope for the future. As they traveled back to Earth, Sarah reflected on their journey. They had started as strangers from different worlds, but now they were allies and friends. Together, they had uncovered the beauty of emotions and how they connected all beings. "We've achieved so much," Sarah said, smiling at her friends. "But this is just the beginning. We have a lot more to explore." Lyra nodded eagerly. "We will continue to learn and grow together." Zev added, "And share our knowledge with others. Understanding emotions can lead to a better future for both our species." Back at the lab, Sarah, Lyra, and Zev began planning their next steps. They envisioned a future filled with collaboration, discovery, and shared experiences. The bond they had formed was stronger than ever, and they were ready to face whatever challenges lay ahead. As they worked side by side, Sarah realized that their journey had only just begun. Together, they would continue to explore the mysteries of emotions, fostering understanding and connection between their worlds. In doing so, they were not only transforming their own lives, but also the lives of countless others, paving the way for a brighter future filled with compassion and unity.